We're on the flight deck of Discovery and just finishing up flight day 4, first full dock day aboard the space station. And woke up this morning and Mike Barrett from the expedition crew joined me for MPLM installation. Trained us in Houston for a long time with the great instruction teams back there and all the great training, all the engineering that's going into this multi-purpose logistics module, Leonardo. Took it out of the payload bay with the Canadarm2 with a big robotic arm. Some views out one of the small bottom windows as the MPLM comes up to docking. It's holding about 15,000 pounds of goods to stow away into the space station. Later in the day when we got a chance to open it, the station crew was just wondering where it's all going to go because there is just a great deal of goods in there, there are racks in there, there's science in there, and there are just a lot of things that we need to sustain science and living on space station. It's a nice view. You see sunrise back there. Just in the nighttime, we use a lot of illuminators and everything to make the robotics work. You can see the grapple fixture of the space station arm with the MPLM just above the payload bay. In the meantime, a lot of work being done around various places in the space shuttle and space station simultaneously. Here's CJ with a full water container. We make water as a product of generating electricity. As we combine our hydrogen and oxygen together, we get electrons and we get water. And the space station is more than happy to take our excess water, so we fill bags for them and transfer it over there. This is after some maneuvering of this Leonardo logistics module. We have it up now just below the nadir port on the space station and just ready for the install. So Christopher and Frank were the ones setting up the MPLM for ingress there, and they're getting ready to do some work on the hatch. Tim Copra, who will be coming home with us on Discovery, also helping out. Just a little interior view of the space station there. We got 2 robotics workstations. The one called the cupola behind us there, and then the main lab robotic workstation that Mike Barrett and I are working on to get all the work done. Every once in a while we go take a look out the windows to see what's really going on outside. Otherwise we use multiple camera views and lots of other tools to help us see what's going on. The view right in front of me is a camera looking out the nadir port of node 2 as the CBM comes right up to it. Or the MPLM comes right up to it, excuse me. Just a pleasure to work with the real arm. It works just like the simulations back at the Johnson Space Center, and everything the instructors taught us was dead on.
Here's Nicole and myself working to transfer an experiment. It's called MDS. It came up on the shuttle, and we're going to leave it on the space station for just some long-term work. It's a powered payload, so there were some things we had to do as far as taking power off. Once that was done, Nicole used a locker tool that we have to unbolt it from its place there, and then we would take it over to the station. So it's all unbolted, unpowered, and it takes 2 people to take something this size through the different hatches that we have to get to station. So we are going up through the airlock hatch where we're connected to the station, and you'll see how things open up a little bit once we get onto ISS. It went into the JPM, the Japanese module. We installed it and bolted it back in, pretty much reversed the procedure, hooked the power back up, but this time it would be hooked up also with water. Another thing that we do is transfer oxygen from the shuttle to the station. And it's a procedure that you see CJ and Bob Thirsk working on. CJ's putting on his gloves. We never want to get any of the oils from our skin onto the connections with oxygen. We try and keep those connectors as clean as possible, free of debris, oils, anything that could cause a contaminant or actually could cause a fire. And the place where we took the MDS out of the space shuttle, we are going to put 2 lockers that come off of the ISS. There's Danny with one. They don't fit exactly the way that our shuttle lockers do, so previous to Danny bringing the locker in, I had installed 2 adapter plates that go in the back there to allow the bolts on the lockers to line up. It's always fun up on the shuttle order station when you get a chance to work with tools. We get some great training for in-flight maintenance down on the ground.
Here we have Danny doing the EMU transfer, and he's being guided from behind with Tim Copra, so they're transferring the EMU suits to the airlock on the International Space Station. We have a big day tomorrow, busy day, where Danny and Nicole will do the first EVA. You can see me there trying to get out of the way because it's a big package that Danny is transferring over, and it's a long translation path. And then once he gets to the airlock, he of course has to secure them, and then we spend a good part of the day prepping them for tomorrow's activity. And here we have Krister and Frank DeWin getting ready to open the MPLM hatch. And as you can see, Krister has been working all day in terms of getting it ready, pressurizing it, and opening it, and was very successful in doing so. Over here, you can see Danny and Nicole prepping the suits. As I mentioned earlier, we spent a great deal today, mostly them, prepping the suits for tomorrow's EVA. You can see Nicole making sure she has all her EVA tools and all her tethers and everything that she needs for tomorrow's activity.
Frank coming up from where we are working on the MPLM hatch, or rather node hatch first, and then an MPLM hatch, and then there's also a lot of leak checks and things. There's a couple of hours work actually before we can open the hatch. That's the thermal cover we're kind of removing, which was on the outside of the CBM.
So here you can see Krister removing the CPAs. These are the controllers for the bolts that bolted the MPLM to the space station after Kevin and Mike installed it. And there's Frank also helping out with that task.